my channel, Great Asia. First of all, I wish you a happy new year, guys. A new year means a new start in your life. So I hope 2025 will be a wonderful part of your story. A new year is like a blank book and the pen is in your hands. It is your chance to write a beautiful story for yourself. So here is a code. I hope you guys like this code. The future is a unknown but a somewhat predictable unknown. To look to the future, we must first look back upon the past. That is where the seeds of the future were planted. For now, close your eyes and imagine yourself in our world 100 years later. Now you are standing in the middle of a city. Look right, left, up and down. What did you see? Will be about humans merging with AI, or the ability to control the weather, or returning to the power exist species. These are just a few of the things that will happen in the next 100 years. Now guys, just hop in our time machine and get ready for a wild ride as we travel to the 2125 and exploring what humanity will look like in terms of technology, space exploration and more. Before we start our time machine, if you don't subscribe to my channel, just subscribe. Okay, let us start our time machine and travel to the future of our Earth. 2025 to 2035 in just the next 10 years. We are going to see some incredible progress in terms of space travel in 2025. A significant achievement in space exploration as expected as various space agencies and companies pursue aspiring projects. NASA's Artemis programs aims to return astronauts to the moon for future Mars missions. Meanwhile, private companies like Blue Origin and SpaceX are pushing forward space tourism, potentially offering the first commercial orbital flight satellite technology will see improvements engaging global connectivity through fast move like SpaceX Starlink. The International Space Station ISS will continue to be a hub for scientific research with a focus on understanding human space flight and studying Earth. Mars exploration remains a priority with ongoing missions gathering crucial data for future crewed landing. With the increasing number of the satellites, managing space debris will become a key concern in 2025. Prompting the development of tracking and removal technologies, China's Tiangong space station is expected to be fully operational, fostering international collaboration on research projects. As global collaboration in space grows, new agreements and regulation will be needed for a sustainable use. Innovation in thrust in space manufacturing will challenge existing capabilities, while public interest in space science is likely to rise, inspiring the next generation in STEAM fields. Also, our humanity will be addressing pancreatic cancer with the introduction of a groundbreaking vaccine that utilizes mRNA technology similar to that which was developed for the COVID-19 vaccine. To begin with, the surgical intervention will be necessary to treat the cancer, but this new vaccine aims to prevent recurrence by prompting the body to produce T cells that can identify and eliminate any re-emerging cancer cells. However, alongside these medical achievements, Earth is facing ongoing challenges due to climate change. One major city is at risk, Bangkok, which has a population of 10 million. The city is experiencing significant land subsidence at a rate of 10 centimeters per year, complicated by groundwater extension compounded by rising sea levels from global warming. Bangkok is projected to face severe flooding in the next decade. In worst case scenarios, up to 96% of the city could be submerged by 2030. While protecting food barriers at the mouth of the Chao Phraya River may offer some mitigation, long-term solutions are urgently required. As urban landscape evolve, we can also expect a transformation in transportation. Self-driving cars are said to become more widespread, although they may be integrated to subscription service demanding additional monthly fees for users. For those who preferring manual driving, operating a vehicle may become something of a lazy hobby. In a broader economic contrast, gas taxation may significantly decrease over the next century, possibly giving way to fully digital taxation with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin gaining taxation. However, Bitcoin mining is impact on energy consumption and the environmental pose challenges particularly relevant in flood at risk of urban areas. In response to growing concerns over the environmental impact of cryptocurrency mining, Griffin Digital Mining is positioning itself as a frontrunner in sustainable Bitcoin mining. The company gears 100% renewable energy sources, particularly hydropower, to power its operation with a strong force and ability and low operation costs. Griffin also demonstrated its dedication to transparency through comprehensive carbon footprint reporting. This commitment established them as a key player in advancing eco-friendly practice within the cryptocurrency industry. But we are getting a little forward of ourselves. We got 90 more years to cover up. So just jump back in the time machine and let us head over to the next decade, 1335 to 1344. Okay, let us check it out how space exploration is progressing. We finally get to surf the hydrocarbon seas of Titan. Saturn's largest moon will send a submarine into space, getting into land on another moon and fell into the ocean. Thereby studying Titan, we learn new and fascinating things about how life began on Earth. Titan has an internal liquid water ocean which could contain the building blocks to alien or human life. It also has dunes that are rich in carbon and nitrogen compounds. Who knows what new life forms we might find out there, but that's not all. Radiation resistant shelters that will allow us to live on the red planet, and it's a good thing we are further along in our exploration of other worlds too, because things might be getting a little too hard to handle here on Earth. By 2035 our planet will be 1.5 Celsius warmer. Lemurs will going to exist, and those cute koalas in Australia say sad goodbye to them too. As we expected, the extreme heat waves will be common in US. Worse than that is hurricane scale. Category 6 hurricanes, which substandard winds over 125 km per second, may be pretty infrequent today. We have only seen 5 of this since 2030, but in 20 years that have hit the Gulf coastlines so frequently so that people have started emptying out of the coastal cities. Goodbye. Houston Galveston battle. Ruish. Now weather wouldn't be the only thing that's changing. Our demographics will be shifting too. By around 2044, mostly white people will be a minority population in the US. And if your reaction to this is, so what? Well, you are in a good company, but majority of Americans feel this is neither a good nor a bad thing for society. But by the 2045 to 2054, climate news will get worse during the 10 years period. Between 2045 to 2055, temperatures will be 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. That's a lot. This will have important consequences for the trillion odd species on Earth right now. And many will be victims of the 6th extinction event in this decade. We have to see 40 to 50% of our current species could go exist. Among them are the African forest, elephants, leopards, and the Yangtze finless dolphins. Population of these creatures are already decreased today. So unless there is a drastic change in our warming climate, poaching and forest loss will near animals like this. There we go. The Dead Sea, a unique natural phenomenon with a salt content 10 times higher than the oceans. It also at risk. Sadly, these salty waters will slowly evaporate due to this impressive heat. Currently in the Dead Sea, evaporation is causing water levels to drop an incredible 1.2 meters each year. During this decade, we finally say a goodbye to the Dead Sea. Now with the devastating effects of global warming, there will be more pressure to innovate. We see much new development in energy. One that will crack the code to commercial fusion power. This is the process that smashes two hydrogen atoms together to form helium and in the process release a lot of energy. Today we don't know how to do this cheaply, but 20 years down the line we figured out how to get the cost down. This will be the beginning of the end of carbon emissions, something else we emitted into the air for decades ago. Might also finally have an update in 1999. Ukraine sent a message named Cosmic Call 1 into space in 2051. This message will reach its destination release as 777A yellow sub-giant star 52 light years away. Maybe we get a call back from the aliens on the iPhone 6751. 2055 to 2064. In 2058, the Beatles music catalog will enter the public domination. I played some of it for you right now, but we get a copyright strike, but not 15 years from now. Also in this decade, we have established a permanent presence on Mars. Probably not the colony of 1 million people that Elon Musk has projected, but definitely a base camp and the start of a Martian future back on Earth. We finally have umbrellas that don't get wet in the rain. Not super exciting at first place, but it means we be the masters of nanotechnology. We be able to incorporate tiny stretches into fabrics which do amazing things in the umbrellas. We use what's called the lotus effect, where the nanoparticles ripple water. Nanoparticles in our clothing could dissolve dirt and kill microbes, so we never have to wash our clothing either. So I'd be happy if I never had to do laundry ever again. But forget about laundry, that's another thing we be right off by 2060 will eliminate coal and oil from our energy system. Solar and wind power will be widely incorporated into our society, and we are making ever bigger step into fusion power. More on that in a minute. 2065 to 2074. Now if you are thinking nanotech clothing is pretty cool, well in the next decade we be mastering pico technology. This is 1000 times smaller than nanotech. Scientists will be manipulating the energy states within electrons. This will change the building and properties of individual atoms. From these new types of matter will emerge, who knows, maybe we building fully new kinds of chips or supercomputers using this new technology. Now if you are watching this and you think you might have a hard time making it to 2065, well you are in luck, because by this decade technology in the medical field will have progressed so far that we be able to print new body parts in 3D. Yeah, we by ourselves with stem cells and gene editing will be able to cure diseases through a combination of this and other methods. The medical field will be helping people live years, maybe decades longer. 2075 to 2084. Okay, by the late 2070s, the change to clean energy will be complete. Humanity will be carbon neutral across the globe, and the last of natural gas power will be phased out. Electric cars will be everywhere. The gas vehicles we ride around today will be considered vintage toys. And with the advances made in nanotechnology, our solar cells, which convert the sun's energy into electricity, will be super efficient. Now technology will optimize our human bodies to artificial organs, biotech eyes and ears for supervision and hearing, and implants increase intelligence. Humans 2.0 will be vastly superior to what we are today. More intelligent by design. This is the decade will also find a new way to launch ourselves into space. We look back as today and think, gosh, space rockets, that was so 2025 instead. We have a space elevator. This will require a cable that runs from the ground up through the atmosphere all the way to a satellite that orbits in sync with the Earth's rotation. A cable will have to be made of some special material, maybe diamond or nano threads. 22nd century. In this period, developments in space included numerous experiments, permanent settlements on the Moon and Mars, regular crewed journeys to gas giants, massive asteroid mining operations, and various interstellar probes, space tourism thieves. And travel to the surface of the moon and other celestial bodies becomes relatively common. During this time, robots play important roles in society in many ways. Some of the most advanced models become so realistic and intelligent that they efficiently found a new segment of the population, making strides in legal status and gaining personality rights. 2130, around this time, humans begin to join with the technology in increasingly widely. If you like this video, just subscribe, like, share. Bye everyone.